Alhamdulillah, wa salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, amma ba'd. Tonight in the recitation, or in the salah, what we've heard from two different surahs, almost the same story again and again. What story was that, Jama'ah? Come on, if you don't know Arabic language, you've heard the names multiple times. What story was that? Musa and Fir'aun, right? The story of Musa and Fir'aun. You heard the name Musa multiple times and the name Fir'aun multiple times. So it has to do with Musa and Fir'aun. As a matter of fact, the last 4 rak'ah, all of them, were all about the story of Musa and Fir'aun. Sometimes it's that long. That long. You would recite pages and pages, and it's all the story of Musa and Fir'aun. What is so unique or what is so special about that? I talked about the story of Musa when he was born. But now what happened to him when he grew up? SubhanAllah, Musa alayhi salam has a very special and very unique quality. If I just say Musa, if I say the name Musa, what comes to your mind about Musa alayhi salam? The image of Musa that comes to your mind, what is it? Strong, powerful. Why do you guys say that? He pushed the man, killed him, right? He just pushed the guy, we heard that story in the recitation. He pushed that man. He just pushed him. He didn't mean to kill the guy, but subhanAllah, he just pushed him. That push was so powerful, so strong. Perhaps the man was flying in the air before he fell down. But the point, Musa alayhi salam was extremely powerful alayhi salatu wasalam. Why do we say that? Remember, he grew up in the house of who? The Fir'aun. Usually back then, those who were in the palace, what type of training do they get? The training that we have today, behind fancy desk and just get rich and that's it? No. Back then, they will be the generals who will lead the armies. They will be the muscle guys. They will be the people basically to take the first step. They will go and pursue danger to prove their chivalry, their bravery, that they deserve leadership. That's how they used to measure it back then. Today, leadership is in the balance, mashallah. So it's a kind of different strength and power. It's the power of the public, it's not the power of the muscles anymore. Musa alayhi salam, he grew up in that culture when he was raised in the palace, and he was this strong man. Again, he was like an adopted son for Fir'aun, for the Pharaoh. That's why he grew up in the same culture. Even though they knew he was an Israeli, but still, they raised him just like they would raise their children. Until this man, he had an argument between an Israeli man and an Egyptian from the Pharaoh. So Musa, he stood by his fellow Israeli. He pushed that Egyptian, he killed him, and that caused him a lot of troubles. He had to run away. Now Musa alayhi salam, he kept running all the way until he arrived in an area outside the territory of the Egyptians. And that's when he saw a tree. He was tired, exhausted. He's a human being after all. He sat down in the shade of that tree, resting. Then an interesting incident happened, and that's something we should all know. Remember we said about the story of Musa alayhi salam at the beginning when his mother, she was asked to protect her child, and then Allah said to her subhanahu wa ta'ala that if you fear for your child, what do you need to do with him? Throw him in the water. When you get afraid, if you start getting extremely concerned for his safety, just put him on the surface of the water. We'll take care of him. That's the tawakkul that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala He built in her heart. The essence of trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Musa alayhi salam, he sat there in that shade of that tree and he started asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that inni lima anzalta li min khairin faqir. That Ya Allah, whatever good that you send me, I need that. I'm in need of every blessing that I can get from Ya Rabbana. Instantly, his call was answered. In the form of what? He saw two young ladies, are holding back their flock of sheep, not going to the water. So he was looking at them and was wondering why they're still standing there when they're supposed to take their flock to the water. And the water was already crowded with all these guys, shepherds, and they're having fun. They're just fighting for their space around the water. Then Musa alayhi salam, he stood up and he went to these ladies and he told them, he says, what's wrong with you? Why are you not taking your lamb to the water? He said, listen, we can't do that. We are two ladies over here. Our father is an old man, and we're not going to be intermingling with these guys over there. So basically they're showing what? Quality of modesty, decency, self-esteem, respect. We're not going to intermingle with these guys. We'll wait for them until they finish. Listen, the only reason we're out here is because our father cannot do it. We have no brothers, our father is too old to do this, and we're going to have to wait until they're done. So Musa did it for them. he took the flock, the sheep, he went there, and being a tough guy, mashallah, he managed to go through put there easily. He finished the job, he took it back to the ladies, here you go, just go home. Then he went back again to that same tree. He did that for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He wasn't expecting any reward, nothing. But Allah had a plan for him. What was the plan? Suddenly a lady comes ala istihya. She came walking, she was very shy. She never spoke with a man before, specifically a stranger like this guy. But then she said, you know, my father, he wants to reward you for what you've done for us. Why is that? Because the father, when his daughters arrived early, he was surprised. Well, why so early? That's weird. Well, that's what happened. We had this guy and he basically helped us with that. And they spoke about his qualities. So he said, go ahead, call him so I can reward him. Musa alayhi salam, he goes there to the house of that man, he speaks with him. And as he was speaking with him, he told him his story. The man told him, don't worry, you're outside the danger zone right now. You're safe over here, so don't worry. But then one of the ladies, she said, Dad, why don't you hire this man? Look how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala designed the plans for Musa alayhi salam. If you put your trust in Allah azza wa jal, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make all these circumstances, wallahi, the entire world will conspire by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to fulfill these plans for you. So eventually, the lady, she suggested to her father, why don't you hire this man, to do the job for us? She said about him two qualities. إِنَّهُ قَوِيٌّ and what? Ameen. She said, my father, this man is strong and he's trustworthy. Now we understand how she knew that he was strong, because he went through the crowd and he was able to finish the job in an instant, and he went out. So she realized he was tough, he's a strong guy. How did she know that he was trustworthy? How did she know that?
The way he walked in front of him.
They said in Tafsir, she realized he was trustworthy because he didn't take advantage of these girls. That's number one. Number two, when she called him to come, it was reported in the Tafsir that Musa alayhi salam, he walked in front of her. Although he's supposed to be walking behind her, right? Because she needs to lead the way. But he's not going to be walking behind the lady. Instead, he would walk in front of her and she will guide him. Take right, go left, go right, go left. The prototype of GPS of that time. A female voice, right? Still, go right, go left. And she realized that this man is trustworthy because he could take advantage of that, walk behind him. But he didn't want to. Why? Because he doesn't want to look at her. And that is something, subhanAllah, is completely forgotten in this society, Allah understand. And a reminder for the brothers, if you ever go, and walk with anybody, co-worker, whatever, if they go up the stairs, down the stairs, you make sure that you act like Musa alayhi salam did with this lady. So she said, Dad, why don't you hire him? Because I know he's trustworthy, he's a strong guy. He can do the job, and we can trust him. Her father had better plan for him. He said, listen, I'm not going to hire you. I have a better thing for you. I'm going to give you one of my daughters to marry her. How about that? You become my son-in-law. Now the young ones here says, MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Where are these parents, ya Jama'ah? Can I have someone like this? Inshallah, one day. One day someone will come to you and says, listen, I have a daughter for you, how about that? Inshallah, but you need to show the qualities of Musa. If you show the qualities of Musa, then you will find a father like this Shu'aib, as it was mentioned in the story. Whether he's the prophet or not, that's a different thing. But you will find someone like this coming to you and say, listen, I see mashallah good qualities from you, I have a daughter for you. He said, listen, I'll marry my daughter, but you're going to have to serve me 8 or 10 years. What do you think? Musa alayhi salam, subhanAllah, such in a situation like this, no home, no job, no money, no family, all of a sudden he got them all in an instant. He got everything in an instant. Job security, family, house, shelter, everything you want. Your wife, means the future. That's what he built for him. All happened to Musa alayhi salam in an instant. Why is that? Why do you think that is for? Because Allah had a plan for this man. Allah was preparing this man for something that would change the world. And it didn't. Indeed, it changed the world. 10 years later, Musa goes back again to Egypt, and we all know the story of him, the confrontation he had with Fir'aun and taking Bani Israel out. But the point I want to mention over here to you is that the issue of putting your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can be seen in almost every aspect of the story of Musa alayhi salam. From the time he was born, with his mother, all the way when he was chased out of Egypt, and then when he came back again, and even during the Exodus, when he was leaving with Bani Israel, when he reached the water, and Bani Israel, they saw that there is no escape, what did they say? قَالُوا إِنَّا لَمُدْرَكُونَ. Look at this. They're catching up with us now. What did Musa alayhi salam say? With full confidence he says, قَالَ كَلَّا إِنَّ مَعِيَ رَبِّي سَيَهْدِينِ. Don't worry, Allah is with me. He will show me the way. And instantly Allah said, okay, now strike the sea. I will open path for you. You can go safely through. If you put your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah brings you miracles. Now I'm not going to guarantee I'm splitting the sea for you, but I'm sure you have your own miracles in this life. Things that you will say, subhanAllah, how could this happen? It will all happen by the will of Allah Azza wa Jalla. And subhanAllah, at a time like this, we see that the same Egypt we're talking about right now is going through all this rough time. I don't know how many of you watched the news, but today in the morning, as you guys were enjoying your sleep, at their morning time, just right before they prepared themselves for Salat al-Fajr, there was a massacre, literally, on these peaceful demonstrators trying to asking for justice, asking for peace, or at least in the way that they thought would be peaceful, Allah musta'an, but then they were shot at with live ammunition. Statistics are still actually varying between 100 to up to 200 people were killed just in that day, Allah musta'an. And the sad part is that this is now between the Muslims among themselves here. That's the sad part, wallah. This is the sad part. When you talk to people, say, Jama'ah, but you guys are Muslim among each other. People don't see it there. They don't see that this way. So no, this is just like Islam and Kufr, and each one of them is labeling the other party to be the Kafir party. And it's so sad. It is so sad. I mean, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, is that when طَائِفَتَانِ مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ اقْتَتَلُوا. Even the believers, they can fight among themselves. It's not that something is recommended, but it could happen. It could happen. It's a sad episode in the history of the Muslims and the history of the Arab world, unfortunately. And I mentioned that in one of my khutab that I personally believe that Egypt, in the heart of the Arab world and the Muslim world, its importance is not really just for the Arab world and the Middle East. It has a very, very unique weight in the entire world. And Muslims should really care for what's going on, what's happening in that area. Unfortunately, we can't do much right now, but at least in a moment like these and hours like these, we deserve the dua from us. I'm going to make dua, inshallah ta'ala, for the people of Egypt, the people of Syria, the people of Burma, Kashmir, Somalia, Iraq, Palestine, all of them, that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make the situation easy. Allahumma ya Rabbana laka alhamdu hatta tarda, wa laka alhamdu idha radit, wa laka alhamdu ba'da rida. اللهم أنت قيوم السماوات والأرض ولك الحمد أنت رب السماوات والأرض ولك الحمد اللهم أنت الحق وقولك حق والقرآن حق والجنة حق والنبيون حق اللهم يا ربنا الطف بإخوان المسلمين في كل مكان اللهم كل المستضعفين من المسلمين في كل مكان اللهم كل المستضعفين من المسلمين في كل مكان اللهم ارفع البلاء عن المسلمين في كل مكان في مصر وسوريا وفي بنغلاديش والصومال وفي كشمير وفي بورما وفي فلسطين وفي العراق وفي كل مكان يا رب العالمين اللهم وحد بين صفوف المسلمين يا رب العالمين اللهم ألف بين قلوبهم اللهم ألف بين قلوبهم اللهم اجمع كلمتهم على الحق والدين اللهم يا ربي اللهم أزل منهم الشقاق والنفاق وسوء الأخلاق اللهم يا ربنا ألغ من قلوبهم السخيمة والحسد والحقد يا رب العالمين اللهم وحد صفوفهم اللهم اجمع كلمتهم اللهم اجمع كلمتهم على الحق والدين يا رب العالمين اللهم نسألك يا الله أن تخزي الشيطان عنهم يا رب العالمين اللهم يا ربنا اللهم احقن دماء المسلمين في كل مكان اللهم احقن دماء المسلمين في كل مكان اللهم احقن دماء المسلمين في كل مكان اللهم ألهمهم أمر رشد يعز فيه أهل طاعتك ويذل فيه أهل معصيتك ويؤمر فيه بالمعروف وينهى فيه عن المنكر يا رب العالمين اللهم احمي حوزة المسلمين في كل مكان اللهم احمي حوزة المسلمين في كل مكان اللهم واعل راية الدين يا رب العالمين اللهم يا الله اللهم انزل عليهم السكينة يا رب العالمين اللهم اقم بينهم العدل يا رحمن يا رحيم اللهم اقم بينهم العدل يا رحمن يا رحيم اللهم ارحم شهداءهم واشف جرحاهم ورد غائبهم وفك أسراهم يا رب العالمين اللهم كل المستضعفين من المسلمين في كل مكان والحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم.